But Rena, you've been listening to Sheila Abeye-Bachman on the security deployment and the assurances that she's been giving in terms of no intimidation and protecting the sanctity of the process. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this point she made, which was that they are there for the safety of the people. And I think this is significant, but most importantly, the level or the extent to which the men and women in uniform are able to identify with this kind of objective is significant. It was good getting to know the briefing that they were getting, some of the information that was given out to them as they go out individually to the various polling stations where they are going to deploy. It's important that they make sure that this information, the briefing that they had about the rules, the limits of their mandates, essentially, I think the point being made is that the presiding officers are in control, or they are in charge of the polling stations. The security agencies are providing support to the presiding officer and the poll officials who are discharging their duties of making sure that voting is taking place and taking place smoothly. And so this is how we want men and security personnel to relate to the process. Whatever you are doing, you are supporting the process. We are making sure that there's orderliness, there's calm. You are providing some level of assurance to the voter that yes, you can come and vote peacefully and go, and that your presence is rather not going to have problems or going to intimidate anybody. So I think this is something that all of them should take seriously, and we hope that they will discharge themselves accordingly.
Well, discharge themselves accordingly. Let me take you to the Upper East region now, where my colleague Albert Sori is on standby. Albert, I'm sure you've been visiting the EC's office. Tell us what you've seen so far.
However, I am reporting from Navrongo Central. I actually just got into the town. Now, the Electoral Commission has also been getting ready, sending out the electoral materials to the various polling stations in preparation for the election tomorrow. But as you see, in the town, people are just retiring and going back to their homes. Yeah, so that's what I can report to you from the Navrongo Central constituency.
Well, that's Albert Sori there. She's just landed at the Navrongo Central constituency in the Upper East region. But I would want to find out, I'm sure you've been finding out about preparations on the part of the EC, on the part of security, there have been deployment, and you've been interacting with residents. What have they been telling you, Albert?
Yeah, so many people are just, preparing for tomorrow. When I got into the town, it was just, normal day activity. There was no political activity whatsoever. Many people, when I was entering, were on their farms, actually working and all of that. So it's been basically a normal day for most people, but they are retiring home in preparation for tomorrow. Now, the police yesterday, told us this evening they were deploying the security personnel to the various areas. The regional police PRO, DSP David Fianco Ochre, has been engaging the media and telling us how they are deploying men to every part of the region. As far as the security is concerned, the police are telling us that they are very ready for tomorrow, and they will be doing it together with other security who will be joining the police in order to have enough men manning every polling station across the Upper East region.
But let's go to Maxwell Kudako from the Eastern region. First off, Maxwell, I'm sure you've done your rounds here. You're back home. What did you find?
Okay, so I'm saying political activities came to the end yesterday. It ended yesterday in most of the constituencies in the Eastern region. In the New Job and South constituency, the MPP had their last rally last night at the Jackson Park. It was a prayer section. The MPP also had their door-to-door campaign ended somewhere yesterday in the evening. Almost all the big pubs and drinking bars in the Koforidua municipality was full with a lot of people. Both NDC and MPP went to most of these bar drinking bars in town and then rounded up their campaign there as well. The Electoral Commission tells us that in the Eastern region, the total number of 1,634,166 people registered in the Eastern region to cast their ballot. So we are expecting that over 1 million people turn out in tomorrow's exercise. Now, out of the 33 constituencies in the Eastern region, the New Durban South constituency is 92,369, followed by the Nkoko and Sawoma Dwedri constituency with 87,321. The constituency with the lowest number of registered voters is the Achim Swedu constituency with a number of 19,848. Now, across the 33 constituencies, 92 persons filed to contest for the various parliamentary seats. Out of the 92 persons, we have 80 of them being males and only 12 female are in the parliamentary contest. Now, the Electoral Commission tells us that they've done all their deployment. Every constituency has gotten their material. They dispatched the materials long ago, and then we are rest assured that there will not be any shortage in any of the constituencies. On matter of security, the police tells us that they've done most of the deployments, especially in the far-to-reach constituencies like the Afram Plains North and South and the other constituencies that is quite far from the capital. So police officers or security personnel who are supposed to man the post have already been dispatched to the various constituencies, waiting for tomorrow early morning to commence work. So by and large, it's been very peaceful. The atmosphere is very calm here in the region. We are just expecting that tomorrow, God willing, by 7 or before 7, all of us will be at the polling centers, and then we'll bring our viewers and listeners up to speed.
Going to the polling center is key. Have we had queues already forming from where you visited?
Well, in the New Durban South, I've visited about 4 polling centers. I've been to the Good News Preparatory School at Abiso. I've been to the Presby Church at Abogri and a few other polling centers. We are not seeing these queues that we are seeing in elsewhere. Mostly here, you find the queues very early or at dawn, around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. But for now, we've not recorded any queue in the few polling centers I've visited in the New Durban South constituency. That's
Maxwell Kudako from the Eastern region. Thank you very much, Maxwell Kudako there. Let's go to Martina Bugri from the Northern region. Martina, you've been interacting with the EC officials there. What's the sense that you're getting in terms of their preparedness in the region? Martina, if you can hear me, we're ready for you. You've been interacting with EC officials. Take us away.
We are right in the capital Bole here, where we are going to gauge the mood of how the EC is preparing for tomorrow's election. It is the hometown of the NDC presidential candidate and former president John Dramani Mahama. We are told he's voting just close by. We'll be talking to the EC regional director, the EC district director, to find out what they have done so far ahead of tomorrow's election. Good evening and welcome to JoyNews.
Good evening.
Now, we were told that there was a bit of rain this evening, I should say. Did it affect deployment?
Definitely. Immediately when we started deployment, then it started to rain, and so it delayed the process a little while. But in the next few minutes, we're able to go through, and those who are going to the far south of the district have already left for tomorrow's exercise.
How many polling centers have gone already?
So far, we have deployed 44 polling centers.
And how many are left to be deployed? And when are you doing that?
We are left with in the region of around 65.
And when would that be done?
That will be done tomorrow from 3:30 a.m.
How have people responded to your preparations that build up till this point?
So far, so good. With the effort put in place by the commission, a lot of publicity have been done over here, and the awareness have been created, and so a lot of people have prepared to welcome tomorrow's exercise.
Do we have any hotspots in this constituency, and if they are, which are the key ones people should watch for tomorrow?
You know, we have a successful registration, we have a successful exhibition, we know violence or any form of any struggle among the political parties. And so far, we are good to go tomorrow. We have also had assurance from the Ghana police and the task force of the Bole district. And so with issue with Flashpoint, and so everything is in order.
We are told the NDC presidential candidate is voting close by. Where is his polling center?
His polling center is the district office, polling station close to our office here in Bole.
Now, let's look at the general atmosphere. Are people eager? You are the commission. Have you had people come up to you with questions regards to tomorrow?
Yes, not too much questions, just that a lot of people are just in the mood to go into tomorrow's exercise. They are prepared and they are all anticipating for tomorrow's exercise, and so Electoral Commission over here too, we are fully prepared, and like I told you earlier, we have started deployment and we are going to start at all polling stations exactly at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
You had the district electoral officer for the Bole constituency, and he says that tomorrow 7 o'clock all will be set for the exercise. Now, if you go through the town, you can see the enthusiasm. People are prepared. People are waiting eagerly for tomorrow's exercise.
That's my colleague, Martina Bugu. Let me take you to the Upper West region where Rafiq Salam is on standby. Rafiq, how's WA looking like in terms of preparedness?
WA is prepared for tomorrow, and then the people are saying that they can't wait for tomorrow to come because the campaigning has been done for close to 5-6 months. It was, though COVID came, it was very intense here, even the last days. And so all the political parties ended their campaign yesterday. We even have one of the flag bearers of the political parties talking about the Liberal Party, LPG, who was here, Mr. Kofi Apollo. He passed by, he came through the Eastern Corridor, moved from the Sisal East to Nandom, passed through Nadul and came to Wa before leaving the region for Savannah region and then to Accra. And so the political parties talking about the NDC ended their campaign yesterday with a peace walk, but they didn't actually end the campaign the public. They went through to do door-to-door, moving from room to room to try to convince the people to see the need to vote to bring back the NDC to power. The MPP, on the other hand, also had lots of campaigns here in the Upper West region. They had several groups that were moving, that was led by Hajia Umu, the parliamentary candidate of the MPP in the West Central. Even as close as 12 a.m., they were still doing door-to-door, trying to interact with the people. And so both regional executives of the NDC and the MPP, they were in serious campaign mood up to about 10, 11, 12 when they retired to their best. But let's take a regional picture of the Upper West region. In the Upper West region, we have 11 constituencies, and then out of these 11 constituencies, 31 people will be slugging it out for these 11 positions. And so out of these 31 personalities, only one is a woman, is a lady, is a woman who is a businesswoman in the person of Hajia Umu Audu. And so 31, and so the Upper West region in all, they are expecting a total about over 460,000 people who will be casting their ballots tomorrow. And so we move to the Wa Central constituency, a total of 88,729 people are expected to cast their ballot between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And so the other largest constituency here in the Upper West region has to do with the Wa West constituency. They have about 52,791. So there you have two personalities who will be, three personalities who will be slugging out, but the two dominant ones will be Superintendent retired Peter Lenchino Tubu and then Dare Kunsunu Dare. So you have the West Central constituency. Four personalities are also on their hand for this position, talking about Haji Audu, Dr. Rashid Pelpu, and then we have Mr. Sharif, and then young who is also standing in this particular constituency. So, in all, it's a peaceful atmosphere in the Upper West region, except some ugly scenes which happened at Laura during the wee hours of this morning, where there were some confusion between the MPP and the NDC, which resulted in the injury of one person through machete.
What was the confusion about? What was the confusion about at Laura?
The information that we got was that the NDC said that they had information about staff ballots that were coming from WA. And so what they did was that they tried to inform the immigration office around the Babel area for them to put a stop to these two cars that were bringing the alleged thumb-printed ballot. So when they came, they searched one of the cars. They couldn't get this thumb-printed ballot. What they saw was hand sanitizers and also things that they
go on, Rafiq.
To their fold. And so after that, an argument ensued, which led to some of the vehicles, I'm told, it was an official vehicle. I'm here to verify that of Anthony Abefakabo. That was somehow they destroyed the ties, and then also they were able to chase the cars to Laura, and then after that, the next morning, there was a retaliatory attack from the MPP side, which resulted in machete wounds. But the police are on hand. They are saying that they have brought the situation under control, and then they will have more security so that the place will be peaceful tomorrow at Laura.
Well, Rafiq, let me allow you to take a quick rest. You have a long day ahead tomorrow. Thank you very much. That's Rafiq Salam reporting from the Upper West region. This is your election headquarters, made possible by Petrosol. Clean fuel in full quantity is always a delightful experience. We're also sponsored by Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it. Magdan Shipping and Logistics Limited, your total logistics partner. Padeva Limited is your home of modern furniture. Core FS is the immune booster for your general well-being. I've taken mine and I'm boosted for the whole period. But I'll take you to the Bono East region, where my colleague Anas Sabit is on standby. I must remind you that at the top of the hour 10, I'll be taking you to Studio 997. And of course, the best pair you can ever get anywhere around the world is our heads of our political desk, Evans Mensah, Winston Amwa. They'll be hosted by Aisha Ibrahim from our Studio 997. You have to wait for it. But Anas Sabit, what's happening in the Bono East region? I am curious to know about the preparedness of both the Electoral Commission, the security agencies, and of course, the residents in particular.
Well, MFA, here in the Bono East region, like we know, campaign officially ended yesterday. We saw the NDC having a mammoth walk through the principal streets of Techiman in the early hours of yesterday, between 6, 7, and they ended before midday. And the MPP, on the other hand, started their walk around 1 p.m. In order not to conflict with that of the NDC, they had to delay. And so they held theirs around 1 p.m. and then ended up at about 5 p.m. at the Konimasi Beach, where the commission, which is key to the aspiring candidate, Martin J. Mensah Kosa. Now, for the day, today has been generally quiet in the municipality and the region at large because campaigning is. I want to paint a brief picture of how the statistics is, the voter population in the region. We're expecting about 591,241 voters to cast their ballots tomorrow. And the region with 11 constituencies has about 1,412 polling stations, with the Techiman's constituency having the largest numbers of polling stations with 265 polling stations, followed by Atiba Mountain with 179. And then Kintampo North is also having 166. The region is also having 11 constituencies, just like the Upper West region, with standing for the various constituencies. 2 of them are females, so the male representation is about 93.5% when you look at the average. Now, in terms of the constituency with the highest number of voters, the Techiman South constituency, which is the regional capital of the newly created Bono East region, has a voter population of 128.17. And then least amongst the constituencies in terms of voter population is the Sini East district or constituency with 24,020. I have been engaging Mr. Gabriel Deyeboa, and for him, the commission is far ready, or is very ready for the elections. They've dispatched all the needed materials to the various constituencies, and they are poised for action. For security, Regional Police Commander DCOP Asumadu Jan Otri has also indicated that they are very ready. They've employed the needed numbers, and they have backup in terms of military who will respond to any unforeseen circumstances. So largely, the region has been very peaceful, pushing through to this minute, and we are hoping that by the close of polls tomorrow, we'll have a very peaceful election here in the Bono East region.
Interesting statistics that you've put out. Thank you very much. That's the situation in the Bono East region. It appears it cuts across all the directors of the Electoral Commission and the security agencies. Tell my colleagues that everything is under control. You're happy with what you've heard so far? Mrs. Oseafo?
Well, quite apart from what the regional directors have been saying, I think the leadership at the national level has been conveying similar messages, which is that they are ready. They've, of course, thrown more light about the level of preparedness that they are, which is that they are ready for the elections. We are also expecting that tomorrow from 7 a.m., polls will be open, voters will be able to cast their ballots, and then at the end of the process, we will have credible outcomes. So this is what we are looking forward to.
You know what they say agroniform. So once they say that they are ready, would definitely be on the ground tomorrow, and we actually hope for the best as well. This is your election headquarters. We continue our coverage. This is the election eve, and it's just the starters, and we would get to the studio 997 shortly. And my colleagues are also dotted across the country. We've been speaking to some of them. We started off from the Ashanti region. We came back to Accra. We've been to the Eastern region, the Northern region, the Upper East region, the Upper West region. We've been to the Bono East region. Where are we heading next? I've seen that Ivy Setoji is on standby from the Volta region. Let's go to Ivy now. If you can hear me, Ivy, bring us up to speed on the situation in the Volta region.
According to the security officers or the security service in the Volta region, everything is set security-wise to make sure that the election is free, devoid of any criminal activities. In Ketu South, as we speak, the situation there everywhere is calm. In Ketu South, that is perceived to be a hot spot, but things are calm there as well. Right now, at the regional office of the East Igbo, ballot papers were dispatched to the various districts. I've been here for the past 2 hours. The EC officials tells me that everything is ready. We went to some of the police centers to see what if people had put some things to in the queue. But unfortunately, we couldn't see anything of that sort. But I can tell you that everywhere is calm and people are very much ready to go to the polls tomorrow. MFA.
Well, so how about your interaction with residents of the Volta region? Earlier, we had allegations about military personnel. We were hearing about heavy security presence. That's almost intimidating people. You've been finding out from them. What did you find?
Well, yes, some said they have seen military men. You know, one thing about military men, you see a military man and you are scared. And so some people said they have seen military men around and they are not comfortable. But we decided as a group, as JoyNews, to go around the towns or the places to see if things are really going on well, if people are being intimidated as we had. But during our rounds, JoyNews, we realized that there have not been really any form of intimidation. We have not seen anything yet, but we have heard of intimidation. But we, as JoyNews or as journalists, are yet to see things like that. We have visited places. People have spoken to us about intimidation by the security, especially the military. According to them, they want the military to be off. They are okay with the police, but they wouldn't want to see the military on the day of the vote, the day they are going to vote. They just want them far away, because when they see them, they get scared, especially those in the southern part of the region, especially Ketu South, Aflau, to be precise, especially the border communities in those areas. For now, I can tell you that the region is very calm. Security is well positioned. What we saw on the ground, security is well positioned, both immigration, the military, and then the police. And we are just hoping that things go on well and peaceful in the region without any problems.
Thank you very much, Ivy Setoji from the Volta region. And I see Rhoda nodding all the way through the Volta regional report, because that's one of the key areas that we've had concerns raised, especially about security and issues about intimidation. What are you picking up from the Volta region?
I mean, she made a good point, which is that there's relative calm in the region. It's important that we have that ahead of the elections. It sent a certain positive signal to all stakeholders. But most importantly, I think, is the security agencies, the officials. We have to make sure that we are not failing the people. We have to instill confidence in the process. We have to make people feel safe to come out to take part in the process. So if there's anything that we are doing which is not making this possible, then of course we expect that they will address that. Earlier, I think you raised the issue about the hotlines. I think Sheila mentioned the fact that they are going to be making numbers available. I think they've already published some of these numbers. It will be important going into the elections that they will be swift. If there are issues, if there are allegations, if there are concerns about the conduct of the agents, security personnel, or any arrangements that have been put in place, it will be important for them to be proactive and to be swift in terms of providing responses to whatever situation there may be. Sometimes you just have to make the information available for people to understand what is happening. And so if there is anything that is happening that people have some other reason to believe it's about something else, it will be important for them to provide the information as swiftly as possible, so that whatever situation or tension that may be building up can be contained as early as possible.
Okay. Well, the EC also earlier announced that call center is operating from 6 to 6 p.m. on all networks. It's 0800 100 100. It's toll free, we're told. That's that call center that has been put out. Also tomorrow, during the process, if you have any concerns, you can send them to the Electoral Commission. So it's 38,622 polling stations out there. They've been outlining a number of issues also today at that press conference I'll take you through. But if you have a misplaced ID card, that's key. One of the questions you're receiving here, whether you can still vote. Madam Jean Mensah says you can still vote even though you've misplaced your voter ID card. If you participated in that registration exercise, you can just go to your polling station where you registered and you can vote. Issues about masks have come up. throughout the discussions. Well, that will be provided in polling stations in rural areas in order not to disenfranchise people. So the concern is which ones are the rural areas that need it. What if we go there and we don't have, what happens? Some of these issues Rhoda has been talking about over the period, but the EC has been talking about it. Also the issue about the 24 hours declaration, she reiterated that today. But let me take you back to the Electoral Commission, where my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who attended that press conference for us, also got the opportunity to enter that collation center.
So we are here at the Electoral Commission's Collation Center, coming to assess the Commission's readiness for tomorrow's presidential and parliamentary election. Just a while ago, the chairperson of the commission, Madam Jean Mensah, held the press conference to indicate to all Ghanaians that the Electoral Commission is certainly ready to conduct a credible election come tomorrow, December 7, 2020. And just as you can see from behind, this is the screen, and on top of the screen, that is what is written, certified. And I do understand that that probably would be where the Electoral Commission will project the certified results for the presidential elections tomorrow. Now, here is another big screen here where the commission and individuals, of course, political parties representatives will be to ensure that everything is going on well. I'd like to speak to a few of the commissioners who have gathered here this afternoon. And Dr. Shebokweku is the Director of Elections for the Electoral Commission. Doc, thank you very much for your time. I know this is a collation center, basically, but what should we expect from the commission tomorrow?
For the collation center, as the name implies, the regions will have collated their results, then they will fax them through these machines. Each fax machine is dedicated to one region. So when the light is blinking, for example, if it's coming from here, then we know that that's the result from Oti region. Okay. If from here, that's the result from Savannah region. So when you pick the results, you show it to the political party reps who will be seated. Because they would have also had DS from their region. Then they affirm that this is exactly what they have. Then we take it to the chairperson for her to certify it, then it will be added to the collation. So
that will be a simple process for you?
That's simple, yes. Simple.
And what time are you inviting the political parties? Are they going to sit here 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or tomorrow morning till they are done?
No, election ends at 5. Okay. Then the polling station results will be declared at those places. Before they will go to the constituency for a collation, before they go to their regions. So we have decided that we'll be here by 7 o'clock. But we are expecting the result to come from 8, 9, 10, that line. But it depends on them. If they want to be here 24 hours with them, we don't have any problem.
So if they are coming here 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, they have all the permission to be here?
But they should be properly accredited, because each party is supposed to bring 2 accredited agents. Right. So if you are not accredited, you cannot be here.
Okay, I get it. Madame Seviano is the Director of Public Affairs here at the Electoral Commission, and Dr. Shebokweku has indicated that the machines we see here are the machines that will fax the results from the regions. Now, I want to understand, so these machines, so this one, as I've seen, the label Savannah region, is it going to receive only the presidential result from the Savannah region or including the parliamentary elections as well?
No. This is dedicated solely to the presidential election. So if should any document emanate from the Savannah region, it means that it is coming from, it is for the presidential election from the Savannah region, from the regional collation center in the Savannah region. Likewise, the Upper East region and all the others, Northern region, Western North, and so on and so forth. So you have each fax machine dedicated to each region. So there are 16 in all, you can verify. But
do I get a sense that the Electoral Commission this time around won't receive any result from the constituency at all?
You see, there is a new dimension to the whole thing. Now, we used to have, for instance, we used to wait for maybe Donkwa Onofin and so on and so many constituencies. Look at the number of constituencies. And this is part of the reason we are saying that barring all unforeseen circumstances, the results will be declared quite early. Because you have regional collation centers. We have introduced regional collation centers. So right from the constituency, where the results will be announced for the presidential, they will move all the results. For example, maybe in Accra, if they have 34 constituencies, there will be one regional collation center. So all the results will be collated and they will be faxed through the Greater Accra fax machine. So should you see anything coming from the Greater Accra fax machine, it means that it's coming from the Greater Accra region, from the regional collation center. So we are not going to have it in bits and pieces like we used to have. Do you understand?
I get your point.
Yes.
I get your, but I see some dexes here. Have you assigned them to the political parties, or they can come and get a seat on their own?
These are decks for accredited party agents or candidate agents from the political party. Representing the interests of their candidates or political parties. Yes. So they will be here. You see, we talk about transparency. This is one of them. Our doors are open for them to come and look at the process. Should anything come from the machine, from a particular region, they must, indicate that truly, if you just suppose that against what is on the field, it's the same. So let's go for the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, who is a returning officer for the presidential election, to certify. But
have you assigned these dexes to any of the political parties, or when NDC walks in, they can just choose a dex and sit on?
We'll fine-tune everything. There's no problem at all. Yeah.
I see some two big giant screens. Can you walk me through exactly what these two big giant screens will be? And so I see that the two big giant screens that I mentioned earlier here, that is where the results will be projected. But of course, Madam Saviano and Dr. Sribo Kweku will speak to us on that.
We are restricted to this area, so let's talk about then as we progress. If there's a need to, go further to other areas, we'll let you know.
Okay, sure. That's fine. So this clearly,
when the result is, let's say, none of these results comes, somebody will be here to take the results.
And it's official.
Yeah, it's official automatically. Then it will be shown to the political parties, because we expected by then they would have also had it, so that they will show, and if they agree that it is the actual results, it will be sent to the chairperson at her office. Okay. She will then endorse it. When it is endorsed, it will be brought here for it to be collated. And in the course of collation, we will be projecting it, so that you will see that maybe a central region result has come, and it has been added, so the results will change. So this is on purpose for the projection of the results.
And each fax machine has a laptop?
Yes. Because what we are using both fax machine and emails.
Okay, so fax machines and
emails. So the results will come in the fax, then in the email, so that we can compare.
The email, can somebody hack into the email system?
That's what I said, we are going to compare. So if you hack it, you will not see it.
Remember also that we have the results on the field.
Right.
You have the media. As the media, you definitely would have the results. The party agents at various levels would also have the results. So this just to...
And the other security is that we will not put that across. But we are sure that nobody can hack it.
Nobody can hack it.
At all. And if you hack it,
tomorrow.
If you jam, you hack, then what about the fax to you?
We have put in measures.
So there are a lot of security measures, but we will not tell you. So you come and hack it.
All right, so that's Dr. Sribo Kweku and Madam Saviano. As you can see, the Electoral Commission is ready to conduct what the chairperson says, a credible election tomorrow, December 7, 2020. Now, these machines, as you see, they have indicated to us that these are fax machines with laptops and has been assigned to every region. One fax machine, one region. And the fax machines, as we've been told, are going to deliver the result from the 16 regions we have in this country. So this is the preparation that the Electoral Commission is making towards December 7. And of course, as you can see, these are the desks that the political parties, when they come to the collation center, will have or seated on to also cross-check and validate the results that are coming in from the regions. And as Madam Saviano indicated, the political parties will have their representatives here. They will also have their results from, their representatives at the various regional collation centers. So when the results come in from the Electoral Commission's regional center or the coalition center at the regional offices, then the political parties can do the cross-checking. And if the results do match, then what it means is that the result is authentic and credible. And so there wouldn't be any reason for dispute. And so this is the preparation of the measures the Electoral Commission has put in place for tomorrow's election. Madam Siviano tells me that as a sign of transparency, they've decided to put this thing together to ensure that the political parties get the first-hand information of whatever is happening on the grounds tomorrow, December 7. For JoyNews, I am Chrissy Parker-Wilson.
So you have a fair idea about how the coalition center of the Electoral Commission looks like, and my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has walked us through that. And earlier, Madam Jean Mensah also made mention of the fact that this time they will just be receiving the results from the 16 regional coalition centers set up at the regional level in all 16 regions. And there you had it. You saw the fax machines and the laptop assigned to each region where they'll be receiving those results. So this time they're not going to receive from the 275 constituencies, and this will enable them to have easy collation by the EC, making a strong case for why they say they will be declaring the results within 24 hours. Rhoda, I'm sure we'll be going into your information center that you set up together with CDD, but you've seen that of the Electoral Commission, an improvement over the previous?
Well, I think essentially the information the EC has been trying to communicate to us is that they are seeking to improve on their experience, electoral experience, and that's what we expect of all electoral processes. From 1992, we've been improving one election year upon the other. Now they are saying that they are moving results to the regional coalition centers. And I think essentially the point also is that they are moving the pressure from the national. They are distributing it to the 16 regional coalition centers, so that now they are only dealing with 16 coalition centers and results, which makes it easier for them at the national level to put things together. But for me, I think it's just the division of the labor that has shifted from the national level to a middle. Now you have a middle layer that is having probably a lot more hands, a lot more teams working to put figures together. And so the possibility that you can do better in terms of the amount of time that it takes for you to announce results or declare results is good. As far as the objective is that we want to improve on the process, but at the same time, I think the caveat is that we also want to be cautious that in this process, we do not allow any mistakes to happen. And so even as they do this, we also expect that maximum caution will be exercised, so that at the end of the day, we are not just going to get results in 24 hours and then go back to another process that probably will take us more than that. But we know that we are getting results and we are done with the process. Everybody welcomes the outcome, and I think that's the bigger objective that we need to work.
Okay, so they tell us they will also strive to post the results, accurate results on their website in a timely manner as well. And then they've talked about the extensive security engagement they've had over the period. So she tells us also that there were some allegations earlier when we interacted with some of the candidates about some photos that will be sent in via a short code to the Electoral Commission from the various regions. So she's been addressing that, mentioning that these photos would just be signed pink sheets from all the various agents at the polling stations and then the coalition centers. That's the pictures that they will be receiving. But we'll get more details on that. But let me take you to the central region now. And my colleague Richard Kujunyaku is on standby. Richard, Central Region, one of the swing regions we have some constituencies in there that swing all the time. So what's the situation in terms of preparedness? What can you tell us?
Well, in terms of preparation, the Electoral Commission indicate to us that everything has been put in place. They've sent all the necessary materials to the various constituencies, and so their constituencies officers have taken charge of the entire situation. So they essentially tell us that what happened with the special voting, they are on point, and they feel that everything is going to go as smoothly as possible. And so on the front of the EC, everything is intact. But when we pick up the security, today there was a short ceremony before they deployed the various security personnel to the various constituencies. Over 3,000 of them made up of the police, the military, fire service, the custom excise and preventive service, and the other people. But in the central region, we have about 537 hotspots. That makes it very serious. And so when we spoke with the regional police commander, she indicated that they are going to send more of their men to these places. Ewutu Senya East, the Kaswa area, leads the pack in terms of the hotspots in the region, followed by Gomoa West, Himalua, Denchua, Ejumako, Enyan, Esiam. I think that all of these things came about as a result of the registration, where there were some skirmishes in some of the centers that they went to register. But we have been assured by the security here that everything is on course. In the central region, we have about 23 constituencies. You indicated that a lot of these constituencies, they swing. So it is not, they are not in bed with any of the political parties. They look at how they feel their experiences and then they vote. So it's going to really be a difficult context, but very challenging as well. So we are ready and set to cover the elections come tomorrow.
Of course, I saw pictures of that deployment that you witnessed, but how about the general atmosphere in the central region? You've been interacting with people who live in the area, those who will be voting tomorrow. What are they telling you? And what's the sense of, security, calmness? What are you getting? What are you picking up?
Generally, everything has been peaceful today. For today, we've not witnessed any activity or incident. So it's people that are making last-minute lobby for votes and the other things. You hardly see the political parties do that. But individually and in groups, people said, "So who are you voting for? Vote for this person, vote for that person," and all of that. But generally, in the central region, they are urging other people to consider the state of development in the central region, a party that can really come and develop the central region. So that is the sense I get there. You don't get the sense that, oh, okay, the region is swinging to this place or that place. It remains to be seen tomorrow what their terms will do. But it's early days yet, but that is what people are generally discussing. You hardly see the political parties. It was only yesterday that they round up everything they were doing as far as political campaigning was concerned. They held rallies. Some of them also held walks across the various constituencies and others. We've been touching base with some of the political people that would be voting tomorrow. So you know that the vice presidential candidate of the NDC will be voting in Komenda.
Yeah.
We also established that other key figures, political figures, will also be voting in their various constituencies tomorrow. And so that is what we are looking out for tomorrow.
Well, I know you're in touch with most of them. It will be interesting to know what Madam Nana Jane has been up to in the KEA constituency. But I'm sure whilst we find out that, Richard, I'll leave you for now from the central region. Get some rest and then you'll be up early tomorrow. Well, Isaac Nonya is in the Savannah region. Isaac, one of the new regions, a region that we're all looking out for. Isaac, if you're on, what's the situation in the Savannah region? Any different from what we've had? Okay, so whilst we wait to connect to the Savannah region, let me take you to the Western region, one area that we're all looking out for also, as well as the Western North. And Ina Thalia Kwanzaa has it covered for us. Ina, what can you tell us? Let's talk about preparations first.
Speaking to the EC regional boss, she says that they are well prepared. They've dispersed most of the materials to the various districts. The Western region has 17 constituencies, which will be contested by the various candidates. So they've dispersed these materials there. They are well prepared. When you go to the security service as well, they've also have about 3,000 men from the region and then from Accra who are going to the various constituencies to ensure that law and order is being enforced there. So for the Western region, they are prepared. Yesterday, most of the political parties ran off their rallies with some, the MPP especially, the Takoradi constituency, ended their rally with a candle night procession throughout the Takoradi constituency. So I can say that the Western region is prepared for tomorrow's election.
Well, Western region voters are very interesting to a large extent because of their voting pattern over the period. But what's the sense you're getting in your interaction with these residents? What are they telling you? What's key for them going into the elections tomorrow?
Well, they tell me, most of them tell me that they are looking at development in the Western region. And for some constituencies, some parties think that that constituency is theirs. But when you speak to electorates over there, they tell you that it's a different thing. Now they are looking at development. They are looking at those who can really help develop the Western region. They talk about the oil finders. They talk about which of the political parties can really help them feel the impact of the oil in the Western region. So this time it's not about this is your stronghold, but they are going to vote based on issues, based on development, based on infrastructure for the region.
Natalia Kwanzaa from the Western region, and the situation there is no different from what we've heard so far. Preparations everywhere, security and EC deployments done. So we've just done the central region. Isaac Nonya will join us from the Savannah region, and then we've just done Natalia Kwanzaa. Everywhere we have it covered. This is your election headquarters, and shortly we'll be crossing over to Studio 997 and join my colleague Aisha Ibrahim, giving us what's an election without analysis, and the best pair will do it tonight. We have you covered all the way till the last ballot is cast, and of course the announcement is made, and then of course the victory parties and the losing statements. It's all here on your election headquarters. I'll be hearing from my correspondents who are also with the candidates. We have it covered as well. Maxwell Agbagba is with the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. Elton John Brobe is with President Akufo-Addo and his team. We'll be checking on them to find out how they're spending election eve and what they are up to tonight. Of course, I have never participated in any election in my life, not even for a cupboard girl. So I don't know how it feels like, but I'll be hearing from them on how they are feeling tonight. Of course, it's not their first time, but we've had some first timers. Goom, for instance, is a first timer, but he's telling us that he'll be getting it by what, 70% or 65% in the first round. We'll see how that goes. But we'll be wrapping up shortly with you so you can get into it. But I want to find out what the National Information Center that you've put together here in Accra, what does it entail? What are we to see there? I know we have our men in there to bringing us more feed from there, but what is on board?
Yeah, so Kodio has recruited and trained and deployed 4,000 polling station observers. So at some 4,000 polling stations across the country, we are having observers who are going to station themselves from morning before the start of polls throughout the day till the results are counted and declared at the polling station. Now they are going to be sending in their reports through one database, and the National Information Center that we have at KIPTC, which we have always had it, is essentially going to be the nerve center where we are going to coordinate activities. We are going to coordinate with the observers, make sure that every observer is reached on election day. We are hearing from you, we are getting your reports, and if we are not hearing from you, then we have to make sure that we follow up with you so that we get the needed data that we can get to be able to assess the conduct of the process. So that's what we are essentially doing with the National Information Center.
So are we going to be getting timely updates from the observers on the ground as against what it is that we'll be getting officially from the EC and our reporters on the ground?
No, definitely. Today we had a press conference, and one of the things that we indicated was the kind of information that we will also be providing. So tomorrow, essentially, we will be issuing 2 statements. Traditionally, this is what we do. We are going to repeat that.
Okay.
We have the midday situational statements where we inform Ghanaians about the conduct of the exercise from the beginning, from the opening and setup of the polls, as at midday when we are receiving reports from the observers. So this information will be shared publicly with all media houses. And then after that, so that will give us a sense of what is happening, what percentage of polling stations we're able to open, within what time, were materials available or not, were the security personnel, and any of the processes that will follow after the opening of the polls. And then towards the end of the day, we'll be issuing another statement, which is the close of poll statement, essentially just to give a rundown on developments in the course of the day at the end of the day. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow.
Well, you're upbeat about it tomorrow. You're ready for the task ahead, I can see.
We are.
Well, so the EC is saying it will be 24 hours. It will make our work easy. Will it make yours easy too? But really, that target that the EC has set for itself, call them naysayers, but they really have concerns because of what we've seen in the past. We've had people challenging results at the polling stations, recounting and all. But the EC assures that they've made room for all that. You're satisfied with that assurance?
I mean, for the commission to come out with such a bold statement, our expectation is that they have thought through the various arrangements that they've made available. They are confident that these arrangements are going to help them declare the results per the timelines that they are indicating. We still have to note that per the laws, they are not required to provide results within the 24 hours. If they are able to do it, it's good for us.
Okay.
But if they are not able to do it, I think it's important that we all understand that there's no legal no legal implication. Exactly. And therefore, as and when the results become available, I think it's important that we also avert our minds to this, that the most important thing is that we are getting the outcomes in the most credible manner that we want to have it. So within 24 hours, fine. Outside of 24 hours, I think it's still fine.
Okay, so one concern that she also raised is the issue about political parties declaring the results ahead of the EC doing so. We've seen that happen before. And this is one admonition she gave to the political parties today on, going ahead to declare the results when the EC is still doing its work. I'm sure Kodeo will add your voice to that.
Well, the parties, they want to be vigilant, and I think political parties are quite sophisticated. Increasingly, they are becoming. It's good that they are also providing another eye to the process, making sure that at all points in time, from the polling station through to the constituency collation center, to the regional, to the national, they are keeping track of all that is happening. And so they may also have some information. Of course, they have their polling agents who are also going to be reporting probably through the means of technology, and they may be having results. They may have an idea or a good indication of what is happening, how they are performing, whether they are doing well or not. I think what the chairperson said today, I think the point is that parties, you may have information, but as far as the laws are concerned, it's the Electoral Commission that has the mandate to declare results. And I think the parties must all respect this. It's important for peace. We've been waiting all year, over the past 4 years, and we cannot afford to let anything slip through. It's important that we give the Commission the necessary respect and authority that they require to be able to discharge themselves well. So we have to cooperate with them. Of course, if at any point in time there are concerns, whether from the polling station or at the constituency collation center, I think that there's opportunity for them to engage. This is why they have agents all through the various layers of the process. It's important that they engage. I would also encourage the Electoral Commission that whatever grievances the parties have, it's important that they do not just dismiss them, but rather look into them. Sometimes they may be baseless, but sometimes they may be genuine concerns, but just being dismissive is not going to help the atmosphere at all. So it's important that they also look into whatever concerns, and most importantly, provide responses or information as quickly as possible so that there's mutual understanding, and then also to keep Ghanaians informed so that we are with them all through the process, and then we can also understand whatever is happening.
And of course, the judiciary is also ready for that process, just in case we have any concerns that will arise as a result of the voting and issues that will come up. But Isaac Nonya is now on standby via Zoom. We've covered almost 11 regions. So this is my 11th region, Savannah region, with Isaac Nonya. Isaac Nonya, tell me if there is anything different happening in the Savannah region. Isaac, you have to unmute yourself. You can hear me now? Isaac, you still have to unmute yourself. We always forget, don't we?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now, Isaac. Can please speak louder?
Yes.
Tell me what's happening in the Savannah region.
One unique thing that is happening here in Damago has to do with some voters who have decided to relocate their bedrooms to the police stations. I came across two elderly women who decided to relocate their beds to the Damago police station. And this particular police station, once it has the security protection, many people don't actually have the fears that when they come, any other attacks or whatever will happen to them. So these women are trying to find out why they came early and they have to wait till daybreak when they know that they will be mosquito by other temptations or attacks on them. They say no. They want to vote for themselves.
How are we doing?
And by that, they have to stay and do that and go home early to avoid anything. The Damago constituency, you know, the stakes here are very high due to the caliber of the people who are contesting. We have the incumbent under Mutawakili of the NDC and then Abu Jinapo of the MPP. These two people have employed
Isaac Nonya, it's a
kind of
Zoom connection on election eve tonight. Isaac, we'll rectify that and get back to you. I think Savannah region, Damongo area, I don't know about the network there, but it's giving us some challenge to Isaac Nonya's Zoom connection. But I'll bring you down south to the Greater Accra region. And Israel Lai from the Accra Mall is now at the Adenta constituency, another swing constituency in the Greater Accra region. Adenta, Israel, what's the situation there?
All right, so I'm here at the Adenta Municipal EC office, I believe, and with Gerald Roberts. So Gerald Roberts is the municipal EC officer, and as you can see behind us, there are all these ballot boxes. These are the ballot boxes, right?
Yes, these are ballot boxes.
Okay, so there are all these ballot boxes, and there's some sorting that's taking place. So he's going to walk us through the process, because these things, these materials are eventually going to end up at the polling stations here in the constituency Adenta. So you walk us through the process, Mr. Roberts.
Okay, thank you very much, Israel. As you can see, we are packing our ballot boxes we'll be using for tomorrow.
Okay. Let me just get something right. We don't have the ballot papers and stuff here.
No, not at all. Okay. The ballot papers have been repackaged and redistributed into their ballot boxes, and it is being kept in the police armory. From here, we'll be adding these boxes to the ballot boxes that contain the ballot papers, and we'll be sending them to the polling stations.
All right. So would you have to send all these to the police station for redistribution, or you're going to pick them, you're going to bring them from the police station to this place?
We'll be sending them from here to the police station, and then we'll pick the ones in the police armory, add it to this, and then we'll send them out for distribution.
And those ones have been sorted out already?
Yes, those ones have been sorted out. And what happened was we were there with the party agents, and then when we take the set of ballot papers, we track them, we take the serial numbers, the parties also take the serial numbers, we put them in the ballot boxes, we seal them, and then all the parties present take the serial numbers of the seals.
Right. So you walk us through what is happening, because I see some sorting out happening here.
Yes.
If you could explain to us.
We have various forms that we use on election day. We have enumeration forms. We have the forms for manual verification, if there is any. We have the voter registers. We have the statement of poll, which is popularly called the pin sheet. Yes, and all those are some of the administrative documents that we use. And so we are putting those ones in the boxes here. And then we'll go and add them to the ballot boxes containing the ballot papers as well as the verification devices at the police station, and then we'll deploy them to the various polling stations.
All right, so is that what, let's get closer to this side and see what is happening. So we see ICG's Jesus Temple
Yes, ICGC, Jesus Temple, Malejo Macho Road.
What will be in this one?
Yes, so this one, as you can see, contains the statement of the poll, and we have some other forms that we are adding to it, like the manual verification form. In the event that there is the need to use the manual verification form, then the presiding officer will sign it together with the party agents who are present.
Right. Yeah. So what else is going into the package?
Okay, so we have the tactile jackets, we have the vests for the officials, we have their pens, their rulers, we have their indelible ink, we have their stamp pad, we have their tamping pads. Every other material that will be used on the election day goes into these bags.
There have been instances where the materials get to a particular polling station and they say, oh, you've brought us materials for a different polling station here. How does that also work out? Or what are you doing to ensure that we get everything going to where they're supposed to?
Okay, so before we do the distribution, we track the various items. There are some items that are general use, and then there are some that are specifically designed for particular polling stations. So like the voters register, it has to go to a particular polling station. The statement of the poll has to go to a particular polling station. The validating stamps that we use, we have tracked them and we are taking them to specific polling stations. Yeah, so as you can see on the back of the brown envelope, we have the name of the center. If you look closely at the bag, you will see that the name of the center has been written on the bag. If you look at the ballot box, you realize that it has also been labeled. Yes, and so we track all the items and make sure that we send the appropriate items to the required polling stations.
And then I also see that you're putting some seals on it. Why are the seals necessary?
Yes, the seals are to basically hold the lids together with the ballot boxes. Yes.
Okay, so it's not the seal that if it's broken, it's fatal.
Not at all. Not at all. These ones, as I said, they contain materials that are for administrative use. The main critical materials, i.e. the ballot papers, the verification device, those ones are in the police armory. And from here, within the next hour, we'll be moving there to go and pack them onto the buses for distribution.
Okay, so again, walk us through the process. At what time do we expect the materials to move from here to the various polling stations for voting to start tomorrow?
Okay, so Adentan has 304 polling stations now, and so we have 304 ballot boxes here and 304 ballot boxes in the police armory, and we are left with just one more electoral area, which is the ones we have enclosed. Yes, and so within the next 30 minutes to an hour, we should be able to finish that, and then after that, we'll load them onto the buses, take them to the police station, offload them, bring the ones that contain the ballot papers, and then we'll redistribute into the buses. We are using 20 buses to do the distribution tomorrow.
Oh, 20 buses? Yes. For just Adentan?
For just Adentan. Like I said, our polling stations are quite many, and the place is vast. And so because we don't want to delay in the distribution, we want to make sure that by 6 a.m., all the polling stations have received their ballot boxes and all the materials, so that the presiding officers can go through to make sure that they have all the materials in their right quantities, and then by 7 a.m. the first person can be attended to.
All right, again, I want to know, where are the party agents at this point? Do you need the party agents here for this exercise you're doing, or they're just going to be at the police station?
Okay, so for this one, the party agents are not necessarily supposed to be here. But in the distribution of the ballot papers into the ballot boxes, the distribution of the verification devices into the ballot boxes, they were present with us, right from going for the ballot papers from the printing house to the police armory at the regional police headquarters, and then from there to our district police headquarters, and then the distribution and everything, they were part of it. But this one, they are not part. Yes.
So at what time are they going to be meeting you at the police station for where you go to pick the ballot boxes, the ballot papers themselves?
They are not meeting us there. What happens is, because we have all tracked the seals that we use to seal the ballot boxes, they will give it to their party agents who will be at the various polling stations. And so when we go and do the distribution, the presiding officers together with the agents for those polling stations will check the seals to make sure that they are the same seals we use to seal the ballot papers at the police station. And then once they are satisfied, they go ahead to break it and then check the contents.
Now, Gerald, one of the things that the Electoral Commission is seeking to do this year is to get to announce the results or declare the results within 24 hours after close of polls. What are the instructions to you, or what are you doing from your end to make sure that this happens?
Yes, the first thing we decided to do was to get enough buses to do the distribution. Once distribution is done early, voting will be able to start on time. And once voting starts on time, the whole process will be able to go smooth. The polling stations have been split, our registers have been split, and so most of the polling stations have about 400, 450. So
there are fewer numbers.
There are fewer numbers, yes. So
we
expect voting to, at 5 p.m. Everybody who intends to vote and is at the polling station must have voted. So between 5 p.m. and 5:30, we should be able to do the sorting and counting and the filling of the forms. Once that is done, the buses, which are now enough, will be able to go around and fetch them back to the collation center. And so we are expecting that latest by 7 p.m., all our presiding officers should be at the collation center, and collation will go on. Latest by 9, we are expecting to declare results, all things being equal. And then after that, we will also transmit our results to our regional collation center, and then the process will follow from there.
All right, thank you very much, Gerald Roberts. He's the Municipal EC Officer for Adenta, and he's been explaining the process to us. Initially, when I came in and I saw the boxes, I thought these were they have the ballot papers, but it turns out they don't have the ballot papers. But they're also critical material that will be used for the elections tomorrow. So those of you who will be voting in the Adenta constituency, you can see some of the materials that are here that you'll be seeing tomorrow. The ballot, but these are the ballot boxes that will be used. Yes, all right. So you'll be seeing your ballot boxes. So those of you who will be voting at the Presby Church, Jordan Congregation, that's your ballot box. So you're seeing it for the first time on JoyNews, your election headquarters. Which other? Okay, so there's another ballot box here, Evangelical Presby Church 1. So those of you who will be voting, spot your ballot box. And there's another, King's Cottage B. This is a parliamentary. So, yes, essentially, these are the processes that the Electoral Commission would have to go through to ensure that we have everything ready. And Gerald Roberts has been kind enough to explain to us what they're doing and why they expect that they'll be ready to have you cast your votes by 7 a.m. All right, so from the Adenta Municipal EC office here, I am Israel Lai. Over to you, back to you, MFA in the studio.
Thank you very much, Israel Lion. This is your election headquarters, made possible by Petrosol. Clean fuel in full quantities, always a delightful experience. Cowbell Coffee, taste it, love it. Magdan Shipping and Logistics Limited, your total logistics partner. Pad Ever Limited, your home of modern furniture. And of course, Coa FS, the immune booster for your general well-being. I am looking forward to this moment. I know you're also looking forward to it. It's the time for the analysis, and we'll be going to Studio 997. But we'll say goodbye at this point to Madame Rhoda Oseafo, the project lead for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, and then also they are in partnership with the CDD. They've set up the National Information Center, and we're bringing you more from that center as well. But just before we go, what do you expect from Ghanaians in terms of the reporting that you'll be putting out, what they shouldn't let you report on tomorrow?
That's difficult. I mean, we are just essentially going to track the process and how it's going, and that's the information that we are going to provide them.
You really want to give all away. Thank you so much. And tomorrow you'll be hearing from her throughout the entire, coverage here at the election headquarters. Thank you so much for being a part of the election eve tonight.